Push piers essentially get installed underneath the spread footing of the house. Once those piers are installed, lifting brackets are installed on top of that, and they'll lift the house back to relevancy. Obviously, if you've remodeled the house prior to piering, you're going to be limited. Mentally, you should be limited on what to expect. You don't want to take the can of worms. You don't want to take the lid right off. You just kind of want to find a happy medium. Push piers, essentially stabilizing a foundation, would be real similar to lifting a foundation. They just wouldn't install the lift brackets. Stabilizing a foundation essentially stabilizes it from future settlement and keeps it right where it's at. The main steps in a pier installation process is to make sure, first and foremost, that your pier is vertical. You want to stick a level on it, make sure that it's going down straight, because it's ultimately the deflection will travel in the pier's path. And if that pier's not straight, then you can expect your house not to be straight. If installed correctly and the correct pier is installed, a push pier will last forever. The next time Jesus Christ comes, that pier will still be there. Grading and drainage, again, that into consideration. If say you run into a lazy homeowner that doesn't want to fix his house the right way, or in that realm, water will continue to do what it does. The push pier, however, if installed correctly and you have the right pier under your house, it can wash everything away and that pier will still be there. It all plays a role, but essentially if you're to the point where settlement has occurred due to drainage or lack of drainage or grading, foundations can be resolved and fixed without repairing those issues, for the simple fact that the push pier is installed underneath the load-bearing wall. So at the end of the day, when the pier is installed and they put all the dirt back, say they've lifted your house is no longer sitting on a native soil, it's sitting on the piers. So unless something gets down to the very bottom of that pier and disturbs that, they're not going anywhere. And that's what I typically run into as far as, say we put 5 piers across the back of a house and we lift that back of the house. Let's say 3 years down the road, they start having issues elsewhere. The first thing they automatically think is that those piers are failing, when it's not the piers failing, it's that native soil in other areas that's being washed away. You can consider a push pier an immovable object in the construction of a house. Where you have to take into consideration is places where there aren't piers, because where there are piers, those piers are there. It's everywhere else where there's no piers where you're going to see continued shifting and moving.